The observation deck of the Celestial Harmony hummed with the gentle thrum of FTL engines, a sound that had become as familiar to Mira Talon as her own heartbeat. She stood before the panoramic viewport, watching stars streak past like luminous tears across the fabric of space. 3 months into the interspecies cultural exchange program, and she still marveled at the impossibility of it all. Ambassador Talon? A crystalline voice chimed behind her, accompanied by the soft click of talons on the deck plating. Myra turned, her weathered face creasing into a smile. Kivik stood in the doorway, barely reaching her waist. The dragon cub's scales shimmered between copper and gold in the artificial lighting, each one no larger than a human fingernail. His wings were folded tight against his spine, still too small for flight even in the ship's reduced gravity. Wide amber eyes stared up at her with an intensity that belied his youth. Kivik, she inclined her head in the formal draconic greeting she'd spent weeks perfecting. You honor me with your presence. The cub's chest puffed with pride, a thin wisp of smoke curling from his nostrils. I have made something, he announced, his basics still halting, shaped by a mouth not designed for human phonemes. For you. A gift of gratitude. Myra's smile softened. She knew what this was about. Last week, during the cultural symposium on Deck 7, a group of draconic juveniles had cornered Kivik, mocking his size, his weak flame, his assignment to a human ambassador instead of one of the prestigious Vryn delegates. Myra had intervened not with authority, but with a human story about a small boy who became a great leader, about patience and hidden strength. The young dragons had slithered away unimpressed. But Kivik had listened with rapt attention, his tail curled around his feet. A gift? Myra said warmly. I would be honored to receive it. Kivik's tail swished with barely contained excitement. From behind his back, he produced a crystalline cup standard ship issue filled with an amber liquid that seemed to move independently of the container. Steam rose from its surface, carrying an aroma that made Mira's eyes water. It smelled like burnt sulfur mixed with overripe fruit and something else, something that reminded her of the recycling plant malfunction on Deck 4. Tea, Kivik declared proudly. Human custom. I researched extensively in the cultural database. I used proper temperature. Did you heat it yourself? Myra asked, glancing at the slight scorch marks on his snout. Yes! More smoke puffed from his nostrils. Dragons must heat beverages with inner fire. It is the honorable way. Also ... double quotes, he ducked his head, embarrassed. The galley staff said I was too small to use their equipment. Myra's jaw tightened. She'd have words with the galley staff later. For now, she accepted the cup with both hands, executing the ceremonial receiving gesture she'd seen in draconic welcoming rites. The liquid sloshed, thick and viscous. Up close, the smell was apocalyptic. She could identify at least 3 ingredients that were mildly toxic to human physiology, probably several more that would simply be deeply unpleasant. The cultural database was comprehensive, but clearly Kivik had substituted ingredients, perhaps using things he thought were equivalent from draconic cuisine. I used ... double quotes, Kivik was explaining eagerly. The dried leaves from the hydroponics bay, the one with purple flowers, and essence of sulfurmus for sweetness, and ground spark root for energy. Just as your database said tea provides energy, and I heated it to exactly 373 degrees Kelvin. That explained the burnt taste, boiling point. Of course. Myra looked down at Kivik's upturned face, at the hope burning there brighter than his still developing flame. She thought of her own children, grown now, scattered across human space. She thought of the countless times they'd brought her, macaroni art and lopsided pottery and cookies made with salt instead of sugar, eyes shining with pride. She thought of the Vryn delegation and their casual cruelty, of the Draconic Empire's rigid hierarchies where the weak were culled from positions of importance. She thought of how Kivik had been assigned to her as an afterthought, a cub deemed too small, too gentle for the prestigious ambassadorial postings. She thought of how humans had clawed their way into the galactic community not through strength or natural advantages, but through sheer stubborn refusal to give up on each other. Thank you, Kivik, she said solemnly. This is a tremendous honor. She raised the cup to her lips and drank. It was, without exaggeration, the worst thing that had ever touched her tongue. The first sip burned all the way down, coating her throat with a viscous residue that tasted like regret and chemical warfare. Her eyes watered. Her stomach immediately lodged a formal complaint with her brain. Every survival instinct she possessed screamed at her to stop. She took another sip. And another. Kivik watched, his tail swishing with increasing joy. It is good? The database said humans drink entire cups of tea, sometimes many cups per day. It's wonderful, Myra managed, her voice only slightly strangled. You clearly put great care into this. I did, Kivik practically bounced. I spent 4 hours researching. I wanted to perform the custom correctly. To show respect. You showed me respect when others did not. Myra drained the cup, feeling the awful liquid settle into her stomach like a warm, angry stone. She would absolutely need to visit medical later. Possibly immediately, but not yet. In human culture, she said carefully, setting down the empty cup, when someone makes you something with care and love, you honor that gift by receiving it fully. You did not just make me tea, Kivik. You gave me respect and gratitude and a bridge between our peoples. The dragon cub's eyes went wide. A soft rumble emanated from his chest, the draconic purr. Then double quotes, he said slowly. Would you teach me more human customs, so I may continue building bridges? Myra smiled, even as her stomach rolled ominously. I would be honored. Perhaps next time I can teach you how humans make tea. We can combine our traditions. An exchange. Kivik's tail lashed with excitement. A true cultural exchange. Exactly. As Kivik bounded away, already chattering about researching human tea ceremonies, Mira allowed herself a small grimace. Her stomach was definitely staging a full rebellion now. She tapped her comm unit. Talon to medical. I'm going to need a gastric flush and probably a mild detoxification protocol. Again, Ambassador? Dr. Vex's amused voice crackled back. What did you eat this time? Not eat, drank, and it was absolutely worth it. Because that was what humans did, Mira reflected as she made her way to the medical bay. They endured, they adapted. They found the strength to drink awful tea made by lonely dragon cubs who just wanted to connect. They built bridges not through superiority, but through the simple, stubborn act of showing up and giving a damn. The galaxy might be full of stronger species, smarter species, longer-lived species with better technology and natural advantages humans could never match. But none of them, she suspected, would have drunk that entire cup. And somehow, in the vast darkness of space, that mattered. That mattered quite a lot.